everyone, and welcome to this analysis of 10th grade paper. Myself, Aayushi. So in this, what we are doing, we are currently working on the process. And here what we are doing, here we are actually going to discuss and analyze the complete question paper. That is the complete question paper for the science, that how the questions are there and how the working process is there and how we should actually answer the question. That is the most difficult and the most tricky portion here, because the student doesn't know that how much and till what they should write, and what are the techniques that they should use while writing the question paper, and what are the things that they should do while they were working on a question paper. Now let's see. Let me share the question paper with you. Okay, and meanwhile, if anybody has any query in between, you can ask that query. So this is the question paper of from the CBSE site, sample paper that I have uploaded. And here you can see that the paper code is basically 086. That is the paper code. And now let's see one by one the everything which is down here. See here, in this portion, the section is basically divided into 5 parts, and 80 mark questions are there. I can see that maximum marks is 80, and they have given you 3 hours to do the question paper. Now, while analyzing, while I was reading the question paper, then most of the things which I find out there was they have given you most of the questions which are application based questions, and most of the things are basically those applications are live application based questions, like you and me are talking. So what is the gas which is respirated out while I'm doing the respiration? So that is carbon dioxide. What is the use of carbon dioxide gas? Or if there is no complete combustion, then what kind of gases are produced there? So these are the live examples and live questions which are there, which is explained in this part. Now, one by one, we'll see the questions. One by one, we are going to see the analysis. And one by one, we are going to see that how we should write the answer so that we can easily go with it. Hello, Dhruv. Good afternoon. How are you? Yes. Okay. So in this, let's start first that how many questions in total are there? So we can see in total there are 39 questions, and there are in 5 sections. And in the first section, that is MCQ. Okay. Now, the most of the students who were in the 10th grade, they were practicing so many questions in IIT, and they were like, all the questions are MCQ. Why we are practicing when we have to give the normal paper, that is your subjective paper. Dhruv, I'm fine. Thank you. So focus here, Dhruv, that the questions, what type of questions they were going to ask you in your school examination. See, last year it was like term 1 and term 2 were there. So the students who have done certain mistakes in the term 1 paper, they actually rectified in term 2, and overall the average was good. But nowadays what happens that you have to give only one paper. So in that case, that your only final exam is there. So you have to be much more prepared. And that preparation is already happening with you, that your half-yearly exams are going on. They are giving you so many questions in the school. Good afternoon. And in that case, the second preparation which the school is going to conduct, and as well as in the Ask item we are going to conduct, is your major test and your pre-board examination. See, in the pre-board examination, it's basically the reflection of the sample paper what has CBSE has given. So CBSE has given you a single pattern, and on those patterns, we used to create the questions. The questions of like diagrammatic questions, subjective questions, objective questions, what are the different types of things that they have given. Like if we'll go in the question paper, I'll tell you about that. There are so many questions which are come from heredity in the biology, and there are questions which are coming from the life process and biology. Similarly, in the chemistry, if we talk about it, there are so many questions which are coming in the name of chemical reactions, that they were asking you the questions which are chemical reactions, and they were asking you those questions from the metals and non-metals from the carbon chapter, which we are going to, and then the other portions. Now let's see one by one here. Okay, before starting this paper, there's one thing which I would like to share with you is that the first thing is that you currently we are in the point that almost October is started, and we have only October, November, and December. That is 3 months which are left with us. 3 months are left with us. That is October, November, December. Now your question will be, our exam will be in the March. Why we are left with 3 months? 3 months is for your complete syllabus. A completion of the syllabus is there. Syllabus completion. Most probably your school and here in Ask IITM will complete all the syllabus by mid of December or by end of the December. That is the target. And after that, you are left with 2 complete months. That is your January and your Feb. We have Jan and Feb. Now, how one should plan everything, that is the most important thing. Because most of the time now what happens that we are doing practice, we are doing all the questions, but still we are not able to score very good marks. Somehow our teacher used to put 2 mark, 3 mark here and there. That is actually we are giving them. And how we are giving them? Because we are not going with the proper revision. That is the month of January which is required the proper revision. Now I have revised everything. What is the next step? The next step is solving the sample paper. The date are tentative, Sam. The dates can be started from the February mid, or they can start from the March starting. Is that clear? Currently, they haven't given you a proper date. And for this, you should know that initially what they have done, they have deducted the 10% of the syllabus, but you should know that they can deduct more or they can add that syllabus initially. In the last year, if you see the in the biology, if we can talk about it, there were so many chapters like control and coordination was deducted, and in the chemistry, the chapter from the carbon and compounds, there were so many things, the reactions were deducted. But in the sample paper, if we see that all the reactions were given, and they are given in a very good way, that they how you should solve those questions. If you don't know anything about those reactions or their IUPAC meanings, so in that case, you will not able to solve those questions. So you have to be proper in the class to learn every single thing which is given there. Now the second thing, we say in the syllabus completion, when we are going in the syllabus completion, the things you should add in your learning process, that is the activities which is given in your science book. Activities. Here you will find so many questions which are given that are based on activities only. That they have done this activity and they got this result. Why they are getting this as a result? What are the observations they are getting? So those activities is basically the live examples which you should know. Now in this case, the second thing what we are talking about is the after activities, you should do all the back exercise questions or in-text question. In-text and back exercise. This you have to do in the month of October, November, and December. And then after that, when we are going in the month of January and Feb, in that time, you have to go with the revision. That is basically previous year question. So you can take the CBSE sample paper, whether it is term 1, term 2, you can do both the question papers. You just have to sit for 3 hours altogether and write every single answer line by line. See, this is the mistake which is done by most of the students. What they do, they pick up the question paper, they start solving it, and what they do, they just write the answer like A or B or C, and they are just solving the simple answer. They are not writing in a proper way. So they don't have this habit of sitting for 3 complete hours in a paper and write everything in the question paper. Always understand, when you are writing a subjective paper, think in your mind that the person who is reading the paper or is going to check the paper is actually doesn't know anything about it. So you have to write every single word there so that they can understand what you have written. Is that clear? And the second thing is basically that if there is a point wise, let's say that the question number 3 has ABC option, write ABC properly. Properly write the answer. Don't write that answer is for third answer, it's this, this, and that. Don't do that. Write ABC option correctly. Now let's see the paper analysis, and I'll show you how to write the proper answers also so that you can easily solve those questions. Now let's see. I already told you it's an 80-mark question and you have 3 hours. Many of the students will be like that, ma'am, it's not a 3-hour paper, it's more than 3 hours. No, never. If you have learned everything and you are solving everything, in that case, it's just a 3-hour paper. Even it will finish up in 2.5 hours or 2 hours 45 minutes, and you still left with 15 minutes for the revision. And that comes with the practice. So the first is section A. Section A is MCQ. So for MCQ, practice all the Ask IITian questions. You will find every single type of questions which they can ask you in the Ask IITian series. Questions which are given to you. Don't miss any single test. Give every single test there. Second, section B. Section B, if you can see, that is basically very short type answer. Okay. Now this is not an English paper. They have written very short type, that is 30 to 50 words. That doesn't mean that you have to write exactly 30 to 50 words like in English essay writing. No, it can be increased or it can be decreased. That depend upon the question that how you are writing. Is that clear? And there are 6 questions you can find here, that is of 2 marks. Then we have section C. They are short type questions. So technically you have to write 4 to 5 lines. And then it is a 3-mark question. Now see, in the 3-mark question, you will be getting always the bifurcation A, B, C, D part. And in A, B, C, D part, what you need to do, write every answer in at least 1.5. Increase your handwriting, write in a proper way. Are we clear on this point? You can tell me the that in chat box. Okay. Now next thing what we have is section D, long answer type. And then section E, that is very long answer type. In that case, you will be getting almost source-based or unit-based questions. That is basically where we do analysis and then we'll evaluate. That's very good. And in this section B, C, and D, you will find there will be odd choices. In section A, all the questions are compulsory. In the section E, there are all the questions which are compulsory there. Initially, what they have pattern till they have. Are we clear till here? Okay. Now let's start with one by one, how we should solve a question and how should we go with the answers. Now let's see. First question is image. Most of the students will get confused with the image that what they're asking. They're not going to ask you anything outside from your booklet, which is given to you, that is NCERT. They're not going to ask you even a single point outside from that. And inside, if they have written even a single word, they can ask you that also. So what you need to focus on, you need to focus on that what is actually asking in the question. In the question, they were asking you, if you see the first one, the change in the color of moist litmus paper in the given setup. So they have conducted an experiment, and in that experiment, there is a moist litmus paper. So will you try to answer this question? See, In the first time, what they have done, they have taken sodium chloride there. That is our normal common salt. And then in that, from the dropper, they are adding the H plus ion. Dhruv, that is the correct answer. And afterwards, they have closed the test tube. And outside, whatever the gas is coming out, they have taken a moist litmus paper in front of that, and it turns the color. Now, in this case, the answer which normally students get confused, that is because of presence of acid or presence of H plus ion. See, any acid is called acid because it has H plus ions. And this is the reason that the indicator will change its color. So the correct answer is the presence of H plus ions. That is C option. Instead of that, if they have added a base, then in that case, the answer will be OH minus ions. If they had added a base here instead of acid. Similarly, let's go with the second question. So in the first case, if you'll write the answer first, answer C, that is the correct. So the correct way of writing this is like this, that you have to write answer 1, that is C. And option is presence of H plus aqueous in the solution. This is the correct way of writing the answer. And you will get 1 complete whole mark. Dhruv, that is also correct. Why others are not trying? Sam, you can also try the question. So we have 2 Sam here, Sam Thomas and Sams. You can try. Try with the question number 2. Om, that is correct answer. So in the second case, what do we have here? We have that MnO2 plus HCl is reacting with MnCl2 to give you H2O plus Cl2. And in this case, I can see the oxidation is occurring and the reduction is occurring in the case of manganese and oxidation is occurring in the case of your chlorine. So from chlorine, Cl minus 1 is oxidizing to Cl2 and MnO2 is reduced to give you MnCl2. So the correct option will be the B1. Same way of writing the answer, you can write second, answer B. Is that clear? Okay. So now let's try the third one also. And the third one, I can see that they have taken a Bunsen burner. That is the direct from NCERT question. NCERT book diagram. By seeing the third question, you should know that you have to read and learn and see every diagram in NCERT by heart. Oxidation number is increased. Dhruv, that is correct. See, oxidation is basically when we are moving from, I told you already in the table, that oxidation and reduction is basically depends upon the number line. In the number line, if you are moving from left to right, it's basically oxidation. And if you are moving from right to left, that is reduction. That is the oxidation method which we have learned. See, this is a higher level. But if you go according to the 10th level says that the oxidation is basically when we are talking about only addition of oxygen. So oxidation is basically when in any compound M, you are adding oxygen to give MO, any compound. That is oxidation. Or the second process is that there is hydrogen and you are removing that hydrogen. That is also an oxidation. So oxidation is basically addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen. That is basically because of the 10th class standard. So here, if I see in this case, what do I have? I have MnO2. From manganese, the oxygen is taken out. MnCl2 is formed. This is moved out. So in this case, this will be your reduction. Similarly, if I'll go and see the HCl case. In the case of HCl, what we are doing, the hydrogen is moved out. So this is oxidation. This is oxidation. That is according to the 10th class book. Is that clear? No, the agent is basically, when we talk about it here, the agent is a little higher level, which we taught you in the class. Understand this here itself, that whatever you are learning in the Ask IITians, we are not just preparing you for your 10th class board. We are preparing you for your other level examinations also. That could be including your Olympiads, or preparing you for your senior years questions. And here in the 10th standard, this is my advice to everyone. Don't write those high level words which are not given in NCERT. Don't use those words. Write in the simple language what they have given in the 10th standard. Is it clear? Now the next portion, what do we have here is, so the next portion is the next question for the magnesium ribbon. If we see in this case, so it is directly a simple question which was given in the first page of the NCERT. That is, when you are burning the magnesium ribbon, you are getting a white color powder here. White powder, and that is actually magnesium oxide. Yes, and white flame is also there. It's basically like a firecracker which we have, the white color flames are there. So yes, Gautam, that is absolutely correct answer. That is magnesium ribbon. Magnesium ribbon burns with a bright white light. That is like a firecracker. First thing. Second thing, the magnesium oxide, which is formed here, is in the solid form, and it is a white color powder. You should also know that. And this reaction is an exothermic reaction. See, even we are heating this. The heating, it produces a very huge amount of light. So it is also an exothermic reaction. They can ask you any point in this case. They have asked you the magnesium ribbon is burning with a bright light. It is an exothermic reaction. It can produce white powder, that is magnesium oxide. These all they can ask you. Similarly, let's go with the next question, question number 4. The question number 4 is asking you, in reference of the 4 gases they have given you, which option is correct? And they have given you, the first is acidic oxide, used in the treatment of water, product of respiration, product of incomplete combustion. See, the product of respiration we all know is a carbon dioxide. So answer is either will be your B or either will be your D. Now the second case, the incomplete combustion that you have learned in the 8th class, that is the flame. That whenever there is an incomplete combustion, in that case, you will get the CO as your carbon monoxide as your gas, which is a very highly poisonous gas. Yes, Dhruv, that is absolutely correct answer. So in that case, what will be the answer? The answer will be the B portion. Now let's just check the remaining 2 options. So in the treatment of water, yes, we use the chlorine water. And the last, the acidic oxide is CO2. In the carbon and the compound chapter, you will learn the compounds of carbon. One is carbon dioxide and one is carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is considered to be neutral. Carbon dioxide is basically your acidic gas. Next, let's see. So this question is from metals and non-metals. That is, on placing a copper coin in a test tube containing green ferrous sulfate solution. Yes. So what they have done, they have taken a tube in which you have a green color ferrous sulfate solution, And in this, what we are adding copper here. Copper is added. So let's see what will happen. Will there be any reaction? Okay, Dhruv. Copper is reacting with FeSO4 and giving you a red brownish and colorless compound. Okay, let's see the option. So according to you, C will be the correct answer. Turns colorless and a red-brown substance is deposited on the copper. Right, Gautam? Displacement reaction. Now, before I answer this question, I would like to ask you, who is more reactive, iron or copper? In the reactivity series, in the metals and non-metal chapter, we have learned this part. Whom that is correct? Yes, Dhruv, there is a reactivity series which we have learned when we were learning the displacement reaction in the metals and non-metal cases. The reaction of metal with another metal. In that case, you will find that iron is more reactive than copper. Therefore, copper doesn't have capacity to displace it. So there will be no reaction. If there's a vice versa, in that case, that will be true. If you have a blue color copper sulfate solution and you will add iron in this case, then you will get green color FeSO4 along with the yellow brown color copper, bronze color copper solid is present there. But they have given you the reverse case. Copper doesn't have power to displace the iron. Is it clear? So in this case, there will be no reaction. So this means that the answer should be the option, the correct answer. See, this is basically what we called as understanding. If you understand the concept, then you can apply. If you don't understand the concept, in that case, you are not able to apply that part. Now let's see the next question. Next question is question number 6. Okay, Anita is added a drop each of dilute acid and dilute HCl on pH paper and compared the color. Which of the following is the correct conclusion? Now this is also a logical question. Just have to use a little logic. That's it. The first option, what they have given you, pH of acetic acid is more than the hydrochloric acid. pH of acetic acid is less than the hydrochloric acid. Acetic acid dissociates completely. Okay, this is wrong. And last is acetic acid is a strong acid. That is also wrong. Okay. So the answer will be A. Absolutely correct. Now, most of the students, what they do, they think that acetic acid is a weak acid. So their pH will be less. No. In the pH scale, the acid which is more acidic will have lower pH. So the pH of HCl will be around here. That will be 2 or 3. And acetic acid will be around here, which is 5. Higher. And same is the case with of POH. In that case, the higher will be having more basic. Okay, the question number 7. Currently, we are doing this in Ask Guidance. We are learning about the carbons and in the compounds in every session. So here you can see that they have asked you a very different kind of question, and it's very analysis question. First, you have to analyze this question, and then you have to evaluate this part. If you don't know any single concept, then it is wrong. Gautam, if you are giving me the answer for the 8th one or 7th one. Oh. So see, in this case, we have already learned in the session that what do we mean by saturation and unsaturation. Saturation means when all the carbon bonds are single, when there is no double bond. So I can see that this has one double bond, so this is unsaturated. Here, there is also one double bond here, this one. So it is also unsaturated. But it is not an unsaturated hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbon means that you have only hydrogen and carbon. That is your alkane, alkenes, and alkynes. So the first option, if I'll see, the A and B are unsaturated hydrocarbon. This word makes it a false statement. They are unsaturated, but they are not hydrocarbon. Let's go with the second option. C and D are saturated hydrocarbon. Okay. C is saturated, correct. D is also saturated, but D is not an hydrocarbon because oxygen is there. So in that case, this word hydrocarbon makes it false. Okay. Yes, Dhruv, the sigma bond. What you are talking about, the sigma bonds. Now let's go with the next portion. This is what we are going to learn. In the NCERT, there were only 4 different reactions which are given for the hydrocarbon chapter. One is addition reaction, second is the substitution reaction, third is the elimination, and fourth is the combustion reaction. So in this case, here we are going to see the addition. The addition of hydrogen by using any catalyst A gives you C. So A is basically a compound. Here we have CH2 double bonded CH2. I'll add hydrogen in this using some catalyst. It will produce CH3CH. That is correct. From A, I'll get the C. Let's see the D option also. Addition of potassium permanganate. This is we are going to learn. The addition of potassium permanganate is basically oxidation reaction. Permanganate will oxidize and give you alcohol is converted to acid. In KMNO4, it will convert it to acid. OH. This is the conversion. So from D, you are getting B. Reverse is true, not this one. From D, we getting B. Next portion, what we have here is, okay, next question is from biology. And okay, I remember I have seen this diagram in the biology. And what the question is, in the given transverse section of the leaf, identify the layer of the cell where maximum photosynthesis occurs. So in this case, they were asking the maximum photosynthesis occur. And okay, I'm not that good in biology, but I know the portion is that the initial, the outer layers and the initially, which is inner layer, they don't have that much chlorophyll present. In the center layer, there are more chlorophyll. So here in between, you will be finding the more chlorophyll parts here. So in that case, the second and the third layer will be having maximum photosynthesis. So yes, the answer will be the B option. Okay. So Gautam is feeling very high about the same. So will you tell me the ninth one answer that is from the, that is actually the mixture of chemistry and biology. Come on guys, I'm waiting for your answer. Okay, this chapter is not done till yet. First, this chapter is actually done for in the cases of chemistry, when we have learned acid and bases. See here. Over the experiment setup, that is actually the activity which is done in the NCERT, and name the chemical X that can absorb the gas which is evolved as a byproduct of respiration. See, byproduct of respiration is basically your carbon dioxide, right? So carbon dioxide gas is produced out, and X is a component which is actually reacting with it. So it will be KOH. And here they have just given the name, but they can give you the reaction also. So what will be the reaction? What is the product form when KOH is reacting with carbon dioxide? Yes, we have learned this portion also. Okay, so the answer is basically K2CO3 plus water. That is potassium carbonate. So whenever there is more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, the KOH is kept there to absorb it. It's K2CO3. Yes, it's basically the ions, that is CO3 minus 2, and potassium, that is K plus 1. And in the case of cross multiplication, you have to take this 2 here and 1. So what do we get here? A2CO3. Right. Okay, the question number 10, it's again from the biology section, and the biology section, what they have given you, there is a tall pea tree is crossed with a pure dwarf pea plant, and F1 generation and F2 generation they are talking about. Okay. So we have tall and small. That is correct. So this is your parent one. And if we talk about the F1 generation, that is your first generation which is occurring. So what will be the crossbreeding here? That will be tall is connecting with the dwarf, and again tall with connecting with the second dwarf, and the second breeding will be occurring. That tall is connecting with the second, and the first one is connecting with the first. So the 4F generation will be tall, small. And by default, there will be 100% tall here. In the second generation, when we are talking about, in the second generation, I can take any two as my parent and let breed them together. So tall will combine with tall will combine with dwarf. Then the second is dwarf with combined with tall, and dwarf with combining with dwarf. So in this case, there will be 75%. So answer will be the D option. That is correct, Gautam. This is how we go with the F1, F2 generation. And I hope you all know how to calculate the percentage. Okay, the next is basically question number 11. Yes. Can you tell me what will be the answer of question number 11? There will be a tropical movement which is given in this question. Absolutely correct. That is D answer, only C. That is C is the correct answer. The roots will go down and the stem will go up. Now, most of the time, now what error student usually make in the paper because of the paper pressure there, that they see C is the correct option and they mark the C option. They don't write. They just have to write like this. They just go answer number 11, C, and they just move on. This is the most common error which is done by the students. C in the diagram is correct, but according to the option, your correct answer is D. That is C only. Is that clear? Yes. Next, 12th question. So 12th question is a diagram shown below is depicting the pollination. Okay. And we have to see the maximum variation. So the maximum variation actually occurs when we have the cross pollination. So I can see the diagram C, and A is indicating the self pollination, and B and D indicating is the cross pollination. So in this case, the correct answer will be B and D, that is the B option. And that question number 12, it's basically is from how do organisms reproduce? The chapter. Okay, I'll forget to give you the chapters from the above. It's okay. Now let's go to the next part. Okay, next question is basically that is from the physics, we can say, and see. I have to think about this question because it is a level 2 question. The level 2 and the level 3 type of questions are there, which they can ask you in your school exams also. Yes. Okay, Gautam, you are giving me the answer for the 12th. That is correct. That is B option, BD. And in the 13th case, we are talking about ohm, and Gautam, you have given me the correct answer. Now let's see what is the question here. A complete circuit is left on for several minutes, causing the connecting copper wire to become hot. First of all, this is the major observation, that the copper wire has become hot. As the temperature of wire increases, the electrical resistance is increased. Why? Because what will happen, the effective volume area of the atom will increase. So initially the atom area was this much, now the effective atom area will this much. Because of heat, the more movement will be occurring. And because of more movement, there will be more collision will be occurring. Due to the more collision, there will be more resistance. Is it clear? That is the logical answer for this. Now let's see. A copper wire is held between the poles of a magnet. Okay. And the current in the wire can be reversed. The pole of the magnet can also be changed. Okay, they can change the poles as well as the current. And in how many directions you can see the wire can move? So north or south or east or west? Yes, absolutely correct. That is directly proportional. As temperature increases, the resistance also increases. I'm giving you the reason why. Even the resistivity is also increased. Why? Because there will be more collisions of the electron, because they all have more higher speed. The second case is basically, I can treat it as a north and south. So this is basically my north pole and this is your south pole. Okay. And in this case, the lines are moving, the magnetic lines are moving like this. So I have to use my right hand thumb rule. So left hand thumb rule. So my magnetic lines are like this in index finger. Now I can take the lines electric field in, let's say, in this direction, in the forward direction like this here. So my the current flow, the force will be acting on the upward direction, that is north. So this is my first direction. Now what I can do, I can change the electric field direction. So let's just change the electric field direction. Instead of pointing towards me, let it point towards you like this. So in that case, what will happen? The electric current is flowing in this direction, the magnetic field. The electric current in your direction towards you, and the force will be downwards. So if my electric current is towards you, in that case, my force will be in the south pole. So this is the first one, and this is the second direction. Now I can change the north and south pole also. You have to check all the options. So let's change the north and south pole now. So now I'm taking this as my south pole and this as my north pole. Now my electric field will be moving, a magnetic field will be moving in this direction. Same electric field I'm taking towards me like this. So it will be towards me. In this case, it will be moving down. So the force will be down. And if it is taking towards you, then in that case, the force will be up. So the answer will be the 2. There will be 2 different directions. So the answer is 2. I hope you have understand. Okay, no issues. Is this part clear? It's very logical. I have to also see the diagrams, how they are moving towards this and towards that. So this type of question is basically level 2, where you're required to analyze and then evaluate. And this type of question they can ask you in your paper. And I'm sure that a question like this you will be finding in your final examination. Similarly, let's go with the question number 15. In the case of 15, we'll know that the resistance is directly proportional to length and inversely proportional to the area. So area is basically equals to 1 upon pi r square, and r is basically your sum from the diameter by 2. So if you are increasing the diameter, you are decreasing the resistivity. So in this case, they are asking you the decreasing part. So how we can do it? By the diameter. So if you increase the diameter, the resistivity will decrease. That is absolutely correct, Om and Gautam. Similarly, let's go with the question number 16. Which of the following is describing the magnetic field of a long straight wire carrying current? So we all know that if the long straight wire is there, then the current will be in the concentric circles. Magnetic field will be in the concentric circles. Concentric circles around the wire. That is the reason, that is a fact. So you'll be finding some fact-based questions also. Now, assertion and reasoning. The assertion and reasoning is very good for you. Those who are actually going for the medical option after this, or those who are going for the engineering option, in both the cases in your entrance exam, you will be finding the MCQs and assertion and reasoning question. In the assertion and reasoning question, there is a same pattern followed everywhere, that A is the assertion and R is the reason. If A is correct and R is the correct reason for A, then in that case, we go with the A option. If A is correct and R is the incorrect option, then, R is also correct, but not the correct explanation, then we have the B. If A is true, R is false, C. If A is false, R is true, then in that case, we go with the option D. And this question here, you will always find the factual based question. There are always fact written lines which are there in the NCERT books or which are there in your books which are referred by your school. Those lines are directly asked in this type of question. Let's see one by one. So question number 17, it's silver bromide decomposed is used in black and white photography. That is a straightforward line. This is true, which is given in the NCERT. Second, the light provides energy. Okay, light provides energy. And this is an exothermic reaction. In exothermic reaction, energy is released, not given. So this is a false. So the correct answer is C1. That A is true, B is false. Is it clear? Yes, that is an endothermic reaction, not an exothermic reaction. Similarly, we can go with the height of a P is controlled by the efficiency of enzyme in the genetical control. Yes, not even about the P, our height also is controlled by the enzymes which are genetically decided by our body. And the genetical decision is taken by the DNA. DNA is the one who is going to say that this protein or that protein you have to form in your body, and that will influence that your different parts. It could be your height, it could be your growth of nails, hairs, any characteristics of your body is decided by the DNA. So in this case, A is also correct and B is also correct, and B is the correct explanation for this. Now let's go with the next portion. Assertion, amphibian can be tolerated mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Now most of the students will be like, what is amphibians? To be honest, I also like what is amphibians. But then I understood the amphibians is basically those who doesn't behave as a human, and they always have 3 chambers. See, human heart have 4 chambers, due to which we can separate the oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood in the left and the right chamber. And in amphibians, there are 3 chambers. So due to which in one chamber, what will happen? Their oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, they both are together. So they will tolerate the mixing. This is the true part. Now the second is amphibians are the animals which have 2-chambered heart. That is wrong. They have 3-chambered heart. Who has the 2-chambered heart? That is the next question. That is fish. Fish have the 2-chambered heart. So the answer for this one is C. So on freely suspending a current carrying solenoid, okay, that is the coil-like structure, is the if you leave them as the north geographical north and south direction. That is true. If I suspend them freely, they will have the north and south pole directions. And if I suspend them freely in the air, they will actually indicate towards the north pole of the earth and the south pole of the earth. They will align together. So this is also true. So the answer is A. Now you have seen the MCQs required lot of practical knowledge. Then we'll see one by one how to write the answers in the different cases. I'm taking one by one analysis so you can understand the cases here. Let's take the question number 21. Now let's see the question number 21. A option I'm taking. A option says that a clear solution of slate lime is made by dissolving calcium hydroxide in excess of water. So calcium hydroxide aqueous solution is taken. And the next thing what they are done in this, it exposed to the air, that is carbon dioxide in the gas, and it turns milky. Calcium carbonate solid plus water is formed. See, this we all know. If you write only this portion, you will get only 1 mark. It's a 2-mark question. You have to write according to the marks. So in this case, what you need to write sentence also. And what should be there? That is calcium hydroxide is reacting with carbon dioxide present in air to produce milky white particle, that is calcium carbonate. This is the correct way of writing. If you don't write a complete sentence, you will only get 1 mark for writing the equation. Is that clear, Gautam? You have given me the correct equation, but if you don't write in the words, in that case, you will be not getting full mark. This is the marking pattern which they have given directly. Good. Similarly, in this, you can find the OR option also. So I have told you how to do this type of question. So let's move to the next part. That is, similarly, in this case, you will be finding the different questions. This is from the biology here, and this is also from the bio question. And in the name of the substances, this is also from the bio question. Then we have physics, 25th question. Physics is actually a little low, but they have the major portions because they have come in the maximum marks. Now let's go with the section C part. Section C part is your 3 mark. Now in the case of 3 mark, how you have to write the answer. See this. I'm taking the question number 27. So question number 27, you have to write like this. First part, what they have given you, A plus BC give you AC plus B. Which kind of reaction this is? It is displacement reaction. Displacement reaction. And they are asking you, give the example also. So if you write displacement reaction, you will get the half mark. Example, there are innumerous example. Let's take just one example. Let's say that we have Fe solid is reacting with copper sulfate aqueous. So in this case, we'll be getting FeSO4 plus copper sulfate. If you're not writing the color, that is okay, but write the states there. Yes, Gautam, we are going with the next one. That is double displacement. Absolutely correct. So in this case, if you write the complete reaction, you will get 1. If you don't write their balancing part, or if you are not writing their state, you will get only half. Question number 27. Similarly, second is basically you have given double displacement. That is also correct. You will get half mark for writing this. And the reaction, let's say that we have Na2SO4 aqueous is reacting with EaCl2 aqueous, giving you EaSO4 solid plus NaCl aqueous. If you don't balance this equation, you will be getting half mark. Right to here, you will be getting full mark. That is absolutely correct. Try to write their states as well. It will help you to create the good impression in front of teacher and give you the full mark. Similarly, you can write all the processes here, and each step, what they're asking you, that is divided into each portion. Let's see the example, question number 28 also. They have given you 3 questions. So each question will be carrying one mark. Is that clear? Now let's see the section D after this. So in the case of section D, what do we have here? Okay, now here comes the questions of the larger portion which we have, that is long answer time. In this question, you have to take a little time to answer because this is 5 mark question. And here you have a choice. Either you can go with the one and you can go with the Shweta, see, the writing state is not that important. But if they have given you in the case of examples, then you should write the state. Is it clear? Especially in the cases of the examples, when they're asking you displacement reaction, precipitation reactions, or they are asking you oxidation reactions, in that case, you have to write the state. Because there you have to show that which is precipitating out or which is coming as a solid form or which is in the aqueous solution. Now let's see how to write the big questions like question number 34. Okay. This is from the chapter which we are currently doing. So this chapter is basically the carbon and the compounds, and you can see that it is completely reaction-based question. So they have taken the ethanol. Those who doesn't know the ethanol, it's basically CH3, C double bond O, sorry, ethanol, it's alcohol here, so H2OH. Heated ethanol with compound A. Okay, so there is something A. And a few drops of concentrated acid is added. Concentrated acid is sulfuric acid. And you will get a sweet smell of B. Sweet smell. And here the B is treated with, and now the next reaction, B is treated with sodium hydroxide, and it will give you ethanol back plus C. You have to identify A and C. So this is a direct based reaction which is given in the NCERT. That is, A will be your any carboxylic acid. A will be any carboxylic acid. In the NCERT, it was given ethanoic acid. So you can write ethanoic acid also. That will be CH3, C double bond OOH. Now, a simple trick to remember the reaction. See. Whenever there is an acid and there is an alcohol, remove water from this. Like this. And add the portion. Remaining will be added. So it will be O, CH2, CH3. And this will be your B. That will be sweet smell. This is called ester. The fruity smell which you are getting from the fruit, that is because of the ester. And this is, we have learned in the rancidity portion also, that the sweet smell is spoiled because the esters get oxidized. And that is what they have done in the presence of NaOH. So what will happen here in the presence of NaOH? This ester will react with NaOH and break down. The bond from where it is formed, it is going to break from the same position. So it is formed here. So it is going to break from here as well and give you CH3CH2OH, that is ethanol, plus the C compound. So remaining, add everything which is remain there in the compound. C double bond O. From NaOH, H is added there. So what do we remain with? We remain with ONA. So that is your C. That is the sodium salt of acid. Sodium salt of carboxylic acid. So the answer for the first one, how you're going to write? Question number 34. First option, A is carboxylic acid. And C is sodium salt of carboxylic acid. Is that clear? Okay. Now let's see the next option. The next is give use of one A and B. Okay. So A is basically your carboxylic acid, that is ethanoic acid, and B is basically your sweet smell ester. So A is carboxylic acid, that is ethanoic acid. And the use is vinegar. The ethanoic acid is present in vinegar, which we normally use at the home for preparing food. Or you can write the second use also, that it is used as a preservative. In pickles or in normally food, you can write it is used as a preservative for the pickles or the food. And for the B, it's basically sweet smell that we have whenever we are making a perfume. We are saying that it is a fruity smell or a sweet smell perfume. So it is used as a for making perfume. Or it is used as a flavoring agent. Used as a flavoring agent. This is the way that you have to write it. Don't forget to number them. And let's see the third option. So in the case of third option, what do we have here is the third question they have asked. Write the chemical reaction involved and the name the reaction. Okay. So we have to write the chemical reaction and name of the reaction. So I have already given the reaction, but I'm writing it again. So the third answer is how you have to write properly. So third is we have ethanoic acid. Ethanoic acid is reacting with ethanol in presence of concentrated H2SO4 to give you ethanoate actually. So this is ethanoic acid. And this is your ester. Along with there is a formation of water. So this type of reaction is called dehydration. Dehydration reaction. That is the name of the reaction. Removal of water. Second, what will happen is ethanoate, which is formed. It will react with NaOH to produce ethanol plus sodium ethanoate That is your normal reaction. That is hydration reaction. See, this is hydration as well as this is salt formation reaction. Salt formation reaction. Because in this case, the salt is formed. This is the salt. Is it clear? This is the correct way of writing the answer. If you write completely like this, you will get the full mark, 5 out of 5. If you're not writing like this, in that case, you'll be getting, your marks will be deducted. And let's go with the next portion, that is the last is basically analysis, E part. Here you will find all the analysis based questions. So in the analysis based questions, you have to learn first what they have written, and then you have to write one by one how to answer. And in this questions in the E part, basically, you will be finding that the questions are application based. All things are applications. And here you will find all the levels are 3rd grade level. So this is the basic analysis. And for the important thing that you should know that how you should prepare it. So in the case of physics, the light chapter and the electricity chapter is considered to be most important. In the case of your biology, we can say the most important chapter is not chapter. We can go with the ozone part. We can go with the photosynthesis, hereditary, and the life processes, heart, lungs, and there were tropical movement. That type of questions they can ask you there. In the reactions in chemistry, reactions is very important. Their balancing is very important, and their portion in which you need to write what are the different kinds of reaction they are, that is very important. And the case of the carbon compounds, that is currently we are doing, and I'll tell you in the class as well, and you will all your respective teachers in the ask item will tell you about what are the important portions according to the school examination. And you can see the level of the questions is very high. So whatever we are teaching you here, it's going to be asked in your paper. Yes. I hope you have understand the everything what we have currently done. Is there any other doubt? By anyone? Okay. So on this note, we are ending this session. I hope you have find this helpful. And if there is any other doubt you have, you can ask me. Or you can post on our website. Thank you. Bye. Take care.